La 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 la. La 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 la.
Hello, hi again. Happy New Year. My name is Daria from Romania.
And Eleftherium from Greece.
And together we are hosting again the What's Up with You. All right. So, what's up with you, Ele?
I didn't expect this question.
Of course.
Honestly. So, What's Up AU? What's Up AU is a live podcast that we are making every 2 Mondays here in ProMETEUS Facebook page.
Mhm.
And we are talking about different things about the European Union, fundamentals, about European Union values, and also general things that it has to do with the young people and with the older people, why not?
Mhm.
So, what are we going to talk about today?
All right. So today's topic is going to be, I think, a very needed one. We are going to tackle the subject of healthy habits and healthy eating. And in order to see that from like a more like broad perspective, we invited people from different places on this planet, beautiful planet.
But I have to make a question.
Sure.
Why did you look at me when you said the title? What do you want to say that?
Well, that remains to be discussed in another conversation. But let's see. So today with us, we have Rafael all the way from Brazil. So hi, Rafael.
Hello there, everybody.
Hi.
It's
Hi,
a pleasure
well,
to be here.
nice to have you. And also we are having Judith from Kenya. Hi, Judith.
Hi, Judith.
I think you're muted. Can you hear us?
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, sure.
It's very nice to have you, Judith, here. All right. So, as I was saying before, we are going to discuss about the healthy habits, healthy eating. The reason why we chose to tackle this subject, I'm still looking at you when I say this,
Okay.
is because
I'm
like
leaving.
we had a previous conversation, like the previous podcast was about the Christmas traditions, and a lot of people mentioned that one tradition is to eat a lot and drink a lot. Like that was the main discussion, like was around food. And I know from my experience as well that this is something like the consumption and the food and this kind of habits are very common in this period of times. And considering the fact that the holidays, winter holidays just passed, we wanted to discuss like what healthy eating is, what are the healthy habits. So on this topic, let's see. Did you notice in this period of time, I'm curious about like Brazil and Kenya, did you notice in this period of time any unhealthy habits or unhealthy eating habits in the Christmas time? Or is it something that is recurring? It's something that is happening every year? We can start with you, Judith.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay, so it's actually a norm, in Kenya, to be precise, that Christmas time is time to eat. It's time to really really eat a lot. So often, the most commonly eaten food, it's often meat, chicken, a lot of chicken. And a friend of mine was actually telling me that Christmas is not Christmas without eating chicken. So it's funny, but it's really true. And after that, it's not a lot of drinking, beer, wine, and all that. So basically, no one actually minds about their pockets during Christmas. It's just a matter of just eating and having fun.
And what about you, Rafael? How is it in Brazil?
Well, over here is not too much different. People overeat like a lot, and people overdrink a lot. Usually, Brazilians really like to party, And on this time of the year, people just like go nuts and eat as much as they can, and with their families. And there is for Christmas, there's a special tradition to eat a special kind of bird. We call it a chester. I'm not sure if there's anywhere in the world, because this meat company, they started to create this special kind of bird on their farms. It's like a mixture of turkey with chicken. They kind of like, you know,
Is this a real bird?
I'm sorry?
Is it a real bird? I mean, you can see it in the farm.
No, that's it. It's nobody really know how it looks, because they created like on a different environment. So we have people have really few information about it, like really little information. Some years ago, they released some photos just so people could know how it looks, but they don't review much. And it's a huge bird.
That's not
It's
suspicious
like
at all.
that's like, it's enormous. It's enormous. And well, I think most of the bad habits are the same, like overeating and over drinking, basically.
I understand. Thank you very much, Raphael. Ele, what about you? How is it in Greece?
I want to say something. It's like Area 51 and the Brazilian chicken turkey. same energy. In Greece, we eat a lot. Usually, I eat only a Greek salad, nothing else, not too much. I'm joking, but we eat a lot. But it's not just chicken. It's like everything that you can see on the road, in the in the farm, everything. I mean, all the animals, as I said, again, so do all the vegetarians, and of course, it's not so healthy food, especially the pork.
Yeah.
But it's homemade, so it makes it like a little more healthy. And we also have so many desserts. For me, they're healthy, but usually in the world are very unhealthy desserts.
Yeah.
So yes, we eat a lot, but unhealthy mostly.
Yeah.
But what about Romania?
In Romania, it's the thing, like, we cook a lot. In Romania, we cook on daily basis. During these celebrations, of course, we cook. And the fact that we say it's homemade makes us, our conscious, to be more like, oh, I'm not so guilty of eating unhealthy. But in reality, it's pork meat, and it has a lot of fat. And Romanian food it's fat food usually. A lot of sauce, a lot of oil. So, and Romanians eat too much pork in general, and they exaggerate during this period of time. And we had unhappy cases where, like, they ended up going to the hospital because of too much drinking, alcoholic coma, where we all know palinka, but like this, like on another level. So this actually, the thing is that, like, everyone puts such a focus on eating in this period of time. We see all sorts of discounts in the supermarkets. Buy this, it's cheaper now, buy more. So this brings me to the next question. What is your take on the following sentence, which is, do we live to eat, or we eat in order to live? What is your take on this, Judith?
Okay. On that statement, I think we actually live. We eat. We eat to live, because I believe that there is no one that actually can really, from the type of food that we eat, depending on the content of the food that we eat, various food has different, proteins and different level of vitamins and stuff. So when you actually consume this, then it means you're going to prolong your life. So basically, it's you are eating for the sake of
Mm-hmm.
sustaining your life, not living for the for the sake of eating. So to me, I think it's the matter of eating to live. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, sometimes during these festive seasons and stuff, it appears as though people are actually just living to eat. They don't really mind about their health. Nobody cares about what sort of help is this food going to bring to my body or system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Thank you very much, Judith. Raphael, what about you? What is your take on this?
Well, I agree with Judith.
Mhm.
To eat to live, because food gives us all the energy and vitamins and proteins that we needed, and well, it's good to eat for pleasure and to enjoy a delicious dish or a meal, for sure. But I think we can, through food, prevent a lot of diseases, and also get a lot of energy to our day and to our life. So
Mhm.
that's basically my take.
Understand. The thing is that, like, I was thinking about this, and again, I agree with what you and Judith said, about the fact that we eat in order to live or in order to survive. And I think once this concept is clear, people can actually start to focus more on what is in their food, like what am I consuming and why. And like you will eat with a reason. For example, I drink lemon juice because it has vitamin C. I eat spinach, for example, because it has iron and it really helps me. So once people understand that they eat in order to survive, I think they understand what and how they eat. But again, there is the other side of the coin where people are making events out of food. Be
Mm.
like, like I think also in Greece you have
A
like
lot of festivals for food.
exact for food, right? Can you like maybe talk about that a little or?
First, for the question, first of all, for the A to live,
Mhm.
is very philosophical
Mm.
question, but I believe that we eat to live, because if we live to eat, you have to find another hobby. I mean, you don't live to eat. There are also many things you can do in your life. But about the food festivals in Greece, we have a lot of food festivals like with seafood.
Mhm. Okay.
So I never go to them because I'm allergic to seafood. But with the traditional music in the background, very Balkan. I think you have
Mhm.
also
Yeah.
the same things in Romania. Also, I want to say in Italy here, in October, there was a chocolate festival
Mm.
in Perugia. Perugia, right?
Perugia.
In Perugia, there was a chocolate festival. I really wanted to go, but because of COVID, it was cancelled. But
Yeah.
fortunately, I hope next year it's going to happen.
Mhm. I understand.
That's all.
Yeah, in Romania also we have a lot of festivals for food, and I'm not saying that celebrating like a traditional food is bad or it's just the overdoing it,
Mhm.
overeating, like doing it like over your limits, and I think that's when the real problem actually starts. It seems that we lost the connection a little bit with Judith, but she's coming back. No worries. It's a matter of connection. All right. So then, because we are talking about, okay, like small joys, as Raphael said, like it's not bad to enjoy a good dish, right? Like I'm in Italy,
No,
of course I will go out and I will enjoy a good pizza. It would be madness of me not to do it, because it's delicious. But that leads me to the next question: how can one know to make the difference between these small joys in life and a bad habit, actually? Raphael, can you start?
For sure. Yeah, I think when the line is when they start to get not so small, when they start to be like big joys and constant joys. Like you might remember me, I ate a lot of chips. I eat a lot of chips. And I started to realize that it's not like, okay, I'm eating once a month. I was eating almost like every 3 days or every 2 days, and it has a lot of fat and a lot of salt, and it would certainly do me bad for my health. So I think that's the line when you realize that it takes control of you, and it's being a constant in your life and in your habits. I think for me, that's basically it.
Mm-hmm. I understand. And for you, Judith, if you didn't catch the question it was, when can one know, like, to put to trace the line between small joys in life and a bad habit, of a bad eating habit?
Okay, so from the question, I can actually understand that, just similar to what Rafa has mentioned, that, to me, the line between the two is when it becomes a habit, when it becomes habitual, in the sense that you do it, often, all the time. Because I believe, sometimes treating yourself out with your friends for pizza and, doing KFC once in a while wouldn't hurt. But if it becomes a norm, like, all the time, like enjoying making merry, it really brings certain negative impact to your health. I think so. Mm-hmm.
Certainly. For you?
Just another thing that I would like to add. I reminded of something. When I started college, I moved in with a friend because I went to another city to study. And at that time, I wasn't. I didn't have the habit to drink soda. I would only drink soda on like parties, and in some parties, I wouldn't even drink soda. I would just be with water or juice. But he, at that time, he would drink a lot of soda. So I started, because he always bought it to when we did it shopping, to when we did the grocery. Sorry, he would always buy it, and I started to drink a lot and become like almost addicted to soda. And and it started to get at a point that I wanted to drink and he wouldn't. and he was the one that presented, like, that gave to me this habit. And at some point I had to, okay, I won't drink it. And I spent like almost 2 years without drinking it. But at 2 years ago, in my birthday, there was a party at the company I worked, and they had like a cake and some finger food, and there was soda. And then I was like, okay, it's been a while since I don't drink. It's my birthday. I would drink it. And then I drank only a glass of soda, and I had the hiccups for like a day. Wow. It was horrible. I wasn't used to drinking it anymore. So that's
no
basically
soda for you, sir.
Yeah.
No more. What about you, Ellen?
So for me, it's more psychological. Yes, psychological thing. What's about to understand if your pleasure plate is start to be very unhealthy. It's like unhealthy habit, because usually I was drinking a lot of cola, and I was watching that my body, it was like going in a really bad way that then I didn't want it. Or I usually eat too much gyros in Greece. Gyros is the kebab, and I was addicted to gyros. So if I was eating every day gyros, I started to look like Shrek, like in the body, not just in the face. And so I stopped eating them. But when I'm not good, when I feel very bad or sad or depressive, I used to eat chips, like small things that they help me like for some minutes,
Like comfort food.
in my, like, to heal my depression, but it's like it's not a healing, it's just a small cover, and then it's going like to disappear again.
Yeah, it's about, I think, the hormones that they're producing in your body as well, like small, like pleasure hormones, and you feel good for the moment. And then there is that, like when you eat too much, you'd be like, okay, I have some chocolate, I have some, and then you are feeling good for like 1 or 2 hours, and then there is the regret. That it ever
too much.
happened to you to have this, like, there is the regret that you ate something bad. It's kind of like, why did I?
But
Like, it was too much.
also, it's like this one is with the coffee that I told you also. When I was working in a really bad restaurant, I was feeling very bad. Every day I didn't drink coffee when I was going to the work, but then I started to drink coffee, and I understood that I was feeling better with the coffee. I don't know if it's like a habit, an eating habit, but it's more like a psychological thing. I knew that it was really bad for my health, but it was more like a psychological habit for me. What about you, Daria?
For me, like, I have times when the small joys are becoming bigger joys, but I try to keep them like on track. I'm tracking my eating habits quite a bit. I'm trying to control them as much as possible. It's not always a success, but it's like, besides the coffee, which I drink every morning, I don't think I have a habit of like doing something constantly, or eating something constantly, that
It's like bad.
it's bad. And even for the coffee, like, there are mixed opinions on this. People say that it's good, other people say it's bad. I prefer not to know, and I drink it every morning because I enjoy it. So,
And before we go to the next question,
course.
guys that you watch us, don't forget to hydrate yourselves. Cheers.
Healthy habits. But yeah, like, the fine line is there when you have a glass of wine for a romantic evening, or you have a bottle of wine every evening. I think that's a line between them. So now, because we talked about food quite a lot, and I was wondering, like, do you think that just eating more healthy, it's enough to call it like a healthy lifestyle or a better lifestyle? Like, what other healthier habits do you know or you heard about? Judith, we can start with you.
Thank you. I believe that it's just not a matter of eating healthy that matters. There's more to a healthy life, and some of the things that I gathered and that actually believe are important. Issues of exercises. Like engaging in physical activities all the time, regularly. That is. Other than that, also avoiding as much as you can. Issues like smoking, because I know others are probably, maybe you might not be a victim of that, but maybe others are. Other than that, also always checking on your weight. Just even as you eat, ensure that you're not really so much carried away by what you're eating to the point that you forget to check your BMI, check your high blood pressure and all that. And even for some people, yoga activities works also well, almost in line with the exercises, but it's a different kind of it engages your mind. And yeah. And actually, one thing that I found some recommendations from the World Health Organization, and they were giving a set of 20 health style living, whatever, health style lifestyle, sorry, that everyone is supposed to be engaging in. And maybe I can just mention a few that I think are relevant to us, that other than just eating healthy, you can as well avoid smoking, become engage in physical activities as much as you can. Always, get tested when you can. Checking for any sort of diseases. And even at this time, we are living in a period where there's corona. Getting to know whether you're infected or not often is important. Also, other things, like following traffic rules. By the way, I was really surprised to learn that following traffic laws are also, like using seat belts, all these things are important. So
Yeah.
there's really a lot to a healthy lifestyle other than just what you eat. Yeah.
Exactly. What about you, Rafael? Thank you, Judith, by the way.
I think what she said is perfect. I will only like add it. Maybe have a good night of sleep. People like most people underestimate the power of sleeping good, and like on this quarantine, I haven't slept good for months. It's horrible. And I think people also forget to the importance of mental health. They underestimate also therapy, and it's important part to understand your mind and your weakness, so you can work on them, and how to better relate to people. We are social creatures, and to ourselves as well. For example, I didn't realize, but when I'm anxious and when I'm sad, I tended to forget to eat. I forget I'm hungry. So, for example, if I was sad, like I had a discussion with a friend, or I was sad because of work, whatever, feeling lonely, I would spend a whole weekend without eating. Like I would eat only finger food, like nuts, some peanuts, or an apple. Which people, oh, you eat apple, you eat fruit, that's healthy. Well, but I eat one in 3 days, so
Yes.
not so healthy. And so I started to understand that while I was going to therapy, and I'm still going. And it's amazing. It's like one of the best decisions I've made in my life, and it gave me more instruments to control my emotions, to understand myself, and like to understand that, okay, I'm feeling sad, I'm not hungry, but I need to eat, because this will give me more energy, this will give me more strength. So it's essential part. Good sleeping, good good eating, and also a good understanding of yourself. And people, like, if I break this phone, or if someone steal it from me, I can buy a new one. I can work and buy a new one. But this body is the only body I have. So there's no way I can buy a new one
It's more
for now.
expensive to repair
I
it
don't know.
also.
Yeah. I don't know in the future if people will be able to to get a new body, but until now, in my reality, I can't. So yeah, this will be my suggestions.
Yeah. You said something very interesting there that I wanted to highlight. You talked about, like, even if you're not hungry, but you realize you need the nutrients, you need the food, so you eat just because you need it, not because you feel it. And I guess that goes for, like, this is how you create a habit, like a good habit, because it's hard to keep healthy habits. Like, the bad habits are addictive usually, so you go there, like you're like dragged there. But when it comes to healthy habits, usually for all of us, it's harder to keep them. Like, exercises needs a lot of motivation, eating healthy needs a lot of motivation, skincare needs a lot of motivation, going to the therapist needs a lot of motivation. So it's usually, you have, even if you don't feel like it, you don't, it's like, oh, I'm not hungry, yeah, I don't want to do exercise, yeah, I don't need the therapy today. But it's more like a rational thing. It's like, you don't feel like it, but you need it. So just
Do it.
go there, just do it.
Yes.
Nike, yeah.
And like many times on while on therapy, I would be going to my therapist, and I would say, okay, today I'm fine. I think I will just talk for an hour. We will try to find some topic, and we will go through this conversation. And I will sit there, and she said, "So how was your week? Oh, everything is fine. Only this and that happened." And on those days that I was so sure that I was fine, my therapist always made me realize that, okay, not so fine. Not so fine. Look, those issues we're trying to avoid, and okay, that made me realize. And I also think that people many times hide themselves behind labels. Like, for example, I'm vegetarian, so for many people look at me, oh, you're vegetarian, so you're healthy. And I'm like, not so much. Because we can, for example, someone can be vegetarian and eat cheese the whole day, and cheese is not the healthiest food. And one might be even vegan and eat a whole lot of industrialized food, and that it has no animals on it, but it has a lot of ingredients that are not healthy. And so it's not like we might be like, okay, nobody in my family has this diseases, or I'm vegan, I'm vegetarian, but go further from the labels you have it from those things. I think that's really, really important.
Thank you very much, Rafa, for the insight. What about you, Ellen?
To be honest, I forgot the question. If it's healthy eating enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Even the people that are going to the gym are saying that if you're going to the gym and you don't eat healthy, it's not enough.
Yeah.
So healthy eating is enough, but you have to exercise if you want like to feel fit.
Yeah.
I have never felt it, but they told me these things. And
it's a step, I guess.
Yeah, it's a step for sure. And I forgot. I want to say that this that Judith said with the healthy habits, it was very interesting. If you can send it to Daria later and send it to me just to check how many I don't do.
Yeah.
To change. And that's all. Yes.
Yeah.
I think for you, Daria.
For me, I think like they pretty much said like a lot of really nice things. I think they're right with this. Like healthy eating, it's one important step in a healthy lifestyle, but it's not enough, as it needs to have friends. Let's say like exercising, whichever form of exercising you choose. Either it's going to the gym or dancing or taking walks or swimming, maybe. Like there are so many ways you can exercise, and I'm sure everyone can find something that they like,
Yeah.
Like it can become a hobby, actually, a healthy hobby, like a pleasant thing to do. So yeah, I think we need like more, like, let's say, okay, personally I don't know people that are making all these steps, but they are making like the most of them, like the most they can do. Like I don't think it's necessary to be like careful with everything, because like then you can risk not to enjoy the life.
Yes.
When you're like, oh, I don't do that, I think you have to get loose at some point, but not too much. Like you have still to keep in mind what you're doing it for, and that leads us like, because the majority of our audience is made up of students, and we know, like, as former students, right now we can say that the students don't have the healthiest lifestyle, and there are several reasons for that. First of all, the lifestyle is very dynamic. There are a lot of things happening. You have to go everywhere. You have to party a lot so you can make friends. But also the money, like you're short on money. Most of the students I know are short on money because they don't work yet. or even if they work, it's a part-time job and you need money for a lot of things. The things are expensive, so this causes them to have a very unhealthy lifestyle. So what are, like, in your opinions, what are some things that the student can do in order to improve his or her lifestyle? Judy, we can start with you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Speaking from a student's perspective, I can say for sure that we students are victims of unhealthy eating habits, and I just realized that even myself during my time in school, I pretty much engaged in a bit of such. Yeah, so I making these recommendations, I'd make them from my own, what I would do, or rather what I would recommend, that first, while working on a budget, I think it's important to first have a I'll just go through a list of items that yeah, first it's important to have a grocery like list. It helps you not to buy unnecessary stuff. You'll realize that when you don't have a list in mind of items that you want to get, you often find yourself diverging into unnecessary things. And then once you have this list, stick to it. And after sticking to the list, try as much as possible to always cook at home. Eating out is quite expensive. It depends, but I find it quite expensive. So limit yourself to try as much as possible to cook at home. And then also, avoid shopping when you're hungry. That time when you're
Yes.
from class and you really you're really hungry, and you're like, oh my god, I am just craving. Because shopping when you're hungry, actually you find yourself indulging in your cravings. You want to eat, and you feel like, okay, I need chips, I need probably I'll use KFC because I've been a victim oftentimes. Yeah, so yeah. And then another thing is try as much as possible to stock up during sales. For countries like in when I was in Czech Republic, you'd realize that there's so many sales periods from in these grocery stores. So you'd go there, try stocking up during sales to avoid and if you're lucky to have a refrigerator, then you'll avoid having food going bad. And just other things. I know it might be hard for everyone, but if you would replace meat with other proteins, there are several proteins that you can actually, because meat is quite expensive, to tell you for sure, in various countries. Replacing it with other proteins would be ideal. And then if you can, when you cook at home, you can easily pack your lunch. It's easier when you pack lunch to school. It's rather than it's lunchtime and you're in school and you didn't bring any food with you, you have to buy. Again, another thing is, if you can, stick to frozen fruits and vegetables. It might not be so so nutritious as the healthy, but it's quite, at the same time you'll be living healthy, and at the same time you're saving costs. So basically that is just a bit of recommendation. I'll leave the rest to Rafa.
Wow, thank you very much, Judy. That was very insightful.
But I just want to add something. Do you know how many times I have been to the supermarket hungry? I went to buy one milk and I left like spending 20 euros without any reason. That was all. So, Rafael, we can continue.
Yeah, this always happens to me, and like, never go hungry to the supermarket, people. That's the worst thing you can do. But I completely agree with Judith, and I will add something. Is that like, work with what you have. Try to find the best out of your situation. You might not have a lot of money, and you might not have a lot of time to cook, but try to find it. What she told us to cook at home is the best thing I found myself, like in Czech Republic. I didn't find food very healthy. Even even more for me that I'm vegetarian. The only option was fried cheese, and that's completely unhealthy. So I had to cook at home, and I would try to find better options. What I had a difficult time there was to find good vegetables and good salad and stuff, because it's not typical of Czech Republic. So, which in here in Brazil, it's easy to find. We have a lot of street markets every day, and it's cheap. It's cheaper than buying on supermarkets, and it comes from local farmers and local producers. So, in many times we go through the easy path. Like, okay, I will buy this frozen food, this frozen beef, this frozen rice, whatever. And we just like put on the microwave, and the meal is done. But that is not healthy. That is not it might save you an hour, but in the end of like the year, you'll be more unhealthy, and you get a lot of health issues. So cook your own food. It also, when you're cooking your own food, it gives you a lot of connection with the ingredients, with what you are consuming, with what you are eating. So it's amazing. There was this vegan shop that I would go in the city I was living last year, that had this big saying: "Cooking is a revolutionary act." And I completely agree with that. Like, cook your own stuff, know what you're putting in your mind, and buy from local farmers, from local producers, organic food. That's amazing. And people tend to believe that that's more expensive, but there are cheap alternatives that you can find it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know that the source, it's safe, and it's actually like good organic food. The same in Romania, we have a lot of street markets with people from the countryside just selling what they're producing. First of all, the vegetables are tastier, healthier than in the supermarket. And if you buy even like larger quantities, they are even cheaper. And you're also supporting the local economy in this way, and I think that's a good thing to do as well. So I think also, like, we are talking about students and budgeting, and I think I saw a lot of students, like buying the cheapest food in the store, right, in order to buy more but cheaper and bad quality, and in the same time spending a lot of money on clothing and on new phones. And one of my recommendations would be to try to keep your wardrobe, like, of course, not to dress like a homeless, like dress nicely, but I think like buying clothing every month, it's not
Too much.
like, it's too much.
Right.
Why would you buy new clothing every month? And instead save money in order to buy like more like high quality food, like more expensive but they are higher quality. And in this way, like on the long run, the nutrients that are in the high quality food are going to help you study better and focus better, because health, like for students, is important because you have a lot to memorize, you have a lot to study, and it's important to feed yourself properly. And instead of buying really cheap food, I think it's good to save up and buy something good for your body that can actually help you in the long run.
But it's personal, this, because I mean, for example, I prefer to spend my money to go for travel or for clothes than to food. I usually buy like the cheapest food. It's like more psychological again. It's like my personal money, so I want to go to give them like for useless things. But personally, I would prefer to have this money to buy the cheap cheese and not the expensive one, so I can save some money to go for traveling
I
on an
understand.
island in Greece. But I can't reply very good on this question because when I was a student in Greece, the food is free in the university usually.
Nice.
So I didn't pay the rent because I was living in the university apartments. I didn't pay for the food, so mostly I was spending like 10 or 20 euros per week for
Oh, okay.
different, like buying a clothes or something else. But now that I'm here and I have to eat something, I don't know how to cook like zero, but I start like from the zero and I'm trying to make some things that I know that I like and
But you're learning.
I'm learning, but I haven't made any fire yet. Probably.
Didn't burn our house down, so that's
No,
good.
not yet. But yes, I mean, if you cook something, you know what you put inside. Even if the meat is like more expensive, that if you go like to McDonald's to buy a burger, but you know this meat you're going to have it again in the freezer, you can eat it like in 2 days or in 3 days, so you
if
can
you buy
save
more.
it.
Yeah, that's true. What are some, because we're talking about students, do you have any like any healthy habits that you started in university and you are still practicing? Judith, we can start. Or
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it's in line with what I've already mentioned in the previous question, and uh, some of the healthy eating habits that I really pretty much, engage in still, even at the moment, because I'm currently staying alone. Uh, trying as much as possible to avoid, avoid too much of a flesh eating, rather like beef, because I know I am, I'm not really a vegetarian, but I want to regulate the amount of beef that I consume. So in that sense, I've always been trying to replace it with other sort of proteins, so occasionally, like, okay, regularly try and eat legumes, like beans, all this sort of other proteins. Again, another thing is avoiding, eating out, because actually right now I have flu. I have flu as a result of I was the other day, just last week on Monday, I was in town and it was really, really hot here in Kenya. And I was like, well, in my city, Nairobi. So I was like, oh my God, I just want some really cold, cold smoothie, I told the lady, like, can you just give me the most chilled, smoothie? And the next day I woke up and I was having tonsils already. So this is a sort of unhealthy habits that unhealthy habits that I need to shun completely. So trying as much as possible not to eat out. I'd rather cook from inside. Like Rafa mentioned, cooking connects you a lot. You engage your mind. It's just like doing other chores like washing clothes, doing dishes and stuff. It gets your mind engaged, you a free flow of blood and all that. So yeah, basically those. And another thing is I began, though I kind of went a bit slow on it, exercises, physical exercises. Try as much as possible to engage in physical activities, be it walking. Maybe running can be a bit strenuous for someone who's starting, but walking some amount of kilometers every day, is good. Is good. Yeah.
that's very nice. Thank you very much, Judith. What about you, Raphael? Do you have any habits that you picked up in college?
I actually lost most of them, I think. But but when I was in college and even on my high school, I used to play soccer or volleyball like on a weekly basis or even like twice a week. And I lost that because I don't know. And now with the coronavirus, I'm not going out practice sports. But yeah, I lost. I lost that. Oh, I think the best habit that I got was to cook my own food and to be aware of what I was consuming. That and until now I do that. But while I was in high school and in college, I would walk a lot. I would walk to school and come back. So I would walk about 4 kilometers every day. That was or even more. I would practice sport, but I lost most of that, sadly. And when I was in school, I would sleep very good. I would go to sleep early. I would have a good night of sleep, but I also lost that. So I miss those times.
For me, for example, it has to do with you, Rafa, actually. Because just like a background story, me and Rafa and Judith were together in Czech Republic. One thing that me and Rafa were doing a lot of times is to cook lunch together. And he's vegetarian. Up until that point, I didn't know, like when I was thinking vegetarian, I was thinking very restrictive, like, oh, you don't have a lot of options. And then like through Rafa, I realized, oh, you can actually cook a lot of things without using meat. So I started to use less meat, mostly because in Czech Republic, the meat, it's terrible. I'm sorry, if there are people from Czech Republic watching, I'm sorry, but it has a horrible taste. And I stopped eating meat because I didn't think, I thought it's suspicious, suspiciously bad. And so I started eating less meat. And since then, I realized also that eating less meat, it's better for my skin, and my skin became better. I felt better. And it was a point like when I realized, oh, this is actually like good for me to try to eat more vegetables and be more diverse in this way. So thank you, Rafa. Like I still practice it. I eat more vegetables than I eat.
She does, yes. I confirm.
He confirms, yeah. What about you, Ella? Do you have any good habits picked up in college?
I was like exactly like Rafael. I was playing football or soccer. I was riding my bicycle like every day. I was like walking every day. I didn't understood it then that I was like so healthy. Now I understand it that I missed all these things, and these were my very healthy habits. But and I really miss playing football. I also miss my bicycle Ohia, which in English is Viper.
Oh, Viper.
Yes, I named my bicycle like a snake because it's green and I love snakes. and dancing also, like the dance class that I had. So with food, no. With food, I wasn't healthy.
Not now. But you actually, like, you started eating a lot of vegetables lately, I have to say.
It's because they're very cheap.
They're very, yeah, that's a good thing here in Italy. The vegetables are very cheap, and you can buy a lot of them for like.
And also, I want to add, sorry, to Scotland. When I was in Glasgow for 3 months last year, they had all the vegetables, like the cucumbers, separated in plastic.
Yeah.
That was the main reason I didn't buy vegetables in Scotland.
Yeah.
So much waste of plastic, and that's why I didn't buy. But here is like,
yeah,
free.
But I also noticed a difference. I noticed here in Italy the bananas being packed right in plastic packages, and I thought only like that's so useless. Like banana already has a package; you don't need a plastic one. I was thinking of it was interesting. Now comparing to when I was in Brazil and there were bananas everywhere, just was amazing. Was absolutely, I loved it. It was amazing. Now we have we want to, like, our last question is what healthy dish you enjoy and you actually know how to cook. And for that, I think we have some images that can help us. Judith, we can start with you.
Yeah, sure. I had sent some images to Daria.
Yes, we will try to.
And I can just give a bit of explanation on my sort of favorite dishes.
Mhm.
So, oh, that is to start with, that is a very atypical Kenyan meal. On the
Mhm.
side, you can see there's beans there. There's yeah, thank you for zooming. There's beans, there's corn, and then there's a bit of cucumber, and then there's coriander also, and carrots, and then served with rice. You can actually eat it alone, or you can serve it with rice.
Mm.
Um, well, for vegetarians, if you want to try eating healthy, this is a very good one. And
Mhm.
then another very commonly eaten, food in Kenya is chapati. This is chapati. Chapati is made from wheat flour. I prepared this a lot. Daria can attest to that.
It's gorgeous. It's amazing.
Yeah, so chapati is made from wheat flour, and you can actually choose to add anything to it. You can see there's like some carrots inside. You can also use paprika sometimes. You can add coriander, and this is actually often served with stew. So you can either choose to have it with any sort of how do you call it, beans. Yeah, this is how the process of preparing it. So you usually
Ah,
you first have a dough, and then you make the pinches, round balls. Yeah, it's sort of a procedure, not really a procedure per se, but somehow a process. This is the mixing, and then you can serve it with anything. In this case, I served it with the beef, but you can actually have it with beans. You can have it with you can have it with any sort of stew. It depends with the commonly eaten stew in your country. Yeah, this would be okay. Yeah, and actually chapati is commonly eaten during festive season. So if you might want to have a you know I can share with you the recipe later on, and the method of preparing it. So yeah, you can enjoy a Kenyan meal at the comfort of your house.
Nice. And I'm going to wait for that recipe because it looks amazing. And now, like, I remembered again about chapati and when you cooked it for me. And I remember calling my mom after and telling her how good it was. And I still, like, I have nostalgia now. Um, but yeah. If you want, we can show mine. I think I also send you some.
yes, but
Oh, all right. Oh, okay. So this is something that actually I think Raphael will be better to explain for us. We're talking mainly about the cauliflower that he cooked. Actually, he cooked for me then that day, and I don't know if you remember Rafa, but I still keep this kind of pictures. And it was
Yeah,
it was the first time when I saw the cauliflower cooked like that.
yeah, I remember that day. I'm not sure if that's so healthy, but it's good. It's certainly good. But we would, you would cut the cauliflower on a small. It looks like a tree, right? So you cut it with on a small pieces, and then cook on like a frying pan with
Mm-hmm,
not so much water.
mm-hmm,
After that, you need to remove the water and put some salt. You can also put some onions and garlic with olive oil.
mm-hmm.
And I think we also use what is it? I don't know the name in English. It's uh, milk, but
Like the
how
condensed
is it
one.
called? No, the
the
condensed one
cream.
is
Sour
it's
cream.
sweet.
Sour cream. Sour cream.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a sour cream, but uh here in Brazil, we usually don't eat it. The sour part, we
Mm.
I don't know if you can picture it in your minds. And if you want to be not so healthy that day, you can put some cheese on top of it, and use the top of the pan to make it melt, and it's delicious.
Oh, wow.
I love that. And
Yeah, but I remember really
I
liking it.
yes, it's good. It's good. I don't have a picture right now, but what I like to
Rafa,
do, especially.
how did I get to miss this?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm saying, Rafa, how did I get to miss such a delicious meal? You only kept it to Daria.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. This give us an opportunity to reunion again and to prepare a lot of food together. But
We
a
also.
recipe that I like.
Sorry,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
please.
Yeah, a recipe that I like to do is I cut onion on small pieces and garlic on really small pieces, and I put some olive oil with bell pepper, potatoes on small pieces as well, carrots, olives. I don't know. I think it's Japanese pumpkin. In Brazil, we call kabocha. I don't know if you know that by
We
its
don't
name.
have that here.
Some seasoning, and then I after some time on the olive oil, I like to put the white rice and with some seasoning, and after some time I put the water so it can cook, and together with the water I put some turmeric. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Yeah, turmeric,
Yeah,
the yellow thing, and not so much, like just a small teaspoon of it. And afterwards it looks just amazing. I loved it.
Nice. Well, we can picture it in a way. Let's see that, like, for me, I remember the cauliflower. That is like a vivid memory. And I loved it. Yeah. So these are Romanian pancakes. Now, when you say pancakes, it doesn't sound healthy, but the Romanians one are actually very thin, and the reason why I consider them healthy is because we usually eat them with jam. You can fill it with cheese if you want, with chocolate, but that's not so healthy. But it actually has very, very little sugar in them, like not even like a small spoon. So they have like very little sugar, and so for that I think they are like a healthier dessert. um okay, and here it's something like a Romanian dish. We have the base, which is Romanian polenta, which we call mamaliga. It's made with corn flour, and of course, I added a little bit of milk and a little bit of butter for smoothness. And then we have vegetables like zucchini, carrots, paprika, and tomatoes. Just like a little bit of oil, olive oil, and in the pan, and that's it. And vegetarian as well. Um, and then we have rice. In Romania, we call this pilaf.
In Greece also.
Really?
Uses formation, yes. Pilaf.
Europe. Yeah, so it's just it's a rice, and then you can mix it with absolutely anything you want. In this case, it was with all sorts of vegetables. I really don't know exactly what I put in there, but you can see zucchini, onions, of course, garlic. Garlic is saint in Romania. We use garlic with everything. So this is how every discussion should start. It's garlic plus
Garlic,
rice.
how are you?
Garlic. Yeah. Yeah, so that is for me. Yeah.
And because we had a technical issue, Rafael, right?
Yeah.
Has another photos, another food, but because we ran out of time, can we show it to the camera and just tell us a few things, because we are running out of time, so you can
I'm not sure if you can see anything. Is this the one you're describing?
Rafael, you're muted. Rafael, you're muted.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. The only difference is that when I cook this dish, I cooked the rice and the vegetables separately. The dish I described, I would cook them together, and it will look good.
But it looks amazing.
Yeah, it was my I did that on Easter. I was all alone on the beginning of the quarantine, and it was amazing.
So, and for me, I don't know how to cook. As I said, this Greek salad is from Google. I didn't make it, but it's very easy to make. It's usually Greek products like feta, cheese, tomato, cucumber, olives, oil, onion, oregano, and if you want salt, if you don't want no salt. But it's very easy to make. Honestly, it's like very tasty, and then you can take the bread and you can put like under with the oil, like do the beep, 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 and eat it like this. Very tasteful because it has all the taste of all the vegetables. And the last one, which is not the food, but I really like it. I think it's healthy. Cold coffee.
Fed espresso.
Sorry for the plastic straw. It's not my picture. Freddo espresso, honestly, is like I feel is very healthy. Also, I said for the psychological things, but don't put sugar. With sugar, is not very healthy.
But just a quick disclaimer. Ele actually knows how to make the Greek salad. It's just that the picture doesn't belong to him. But he actually made it for us on the New Year, and it was amazing. It was very delicious. So give
Thank you.
yourself some credit. Come on.
Thank you. I thought it's very easy to make a Greek salad.
But yeah, we are going towards the end. I just want to thank you guys for being with us tonight. And I think that the discussion turned out to be very interesting. Ele, would you like to talk a little bit about the next meeting that we will have?
The next meeting is going to be in 2 Mondays, as always, and we are going to talk about another subject, which is feminism and who run the world? Girls. Sexism is over. Period. And we are going to discuss about this nice subject.
All right. And in this case, we are going to play our beautiful intro, in this case, outro, one more time. Again, thank you very much for sticking with us until the end. And thank you very much, Judith and Raphael, for taking part of this. And
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
our
being
pleasure.
here.
Our pleasure. And I wish you all a very nice evening. Enjoy the outro.
Thank you, guys, and good night, good morning, Brazil. Ciao.
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 And
outro.
la 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 la